Watch Who?
Hello, and welcome to Two Watch Who, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Mark.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm a Doctor Who fan.
And I'm new to watching Who.
Watching for the very first time.
Very first time.
And we've got Christmas in summer this time.
Well, technically, I mean, depending when this goes out, we're technically still in spring. But it is Christmas, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's very strange to do a Christmas special, which I don't think you were expecting coming up.
I was not expecting it to be a Christmas special, no. I think you did mention it, but I'd forgotten. It did sort of throw me a little bit.
But before we start, we've got some catching up to do, because I have to tell you about the Comic-Con I went to.
Yeah, you do. You've got a lot to tell me about this. So much so that I asked Mark not to tell me so he could share it all with you and you can hear my reactions firsthand.
Okay, what do you want first? The actual Comic-Con or the...
Oh, no, you've got to start with the accommodation. So, dear listeners, this is how it started with Mark. I got a message from Mark telling me that he was going to be away at the weekend. I was like, cool. And he booked what sounds, through booking.com though, but what sounds like the dodgiest place on earth. And it was like, oh my God, what? And he was like, why does this happen to me? And I'm like, why do you let this happen to you? And then I was like, I want to hear all about it when we record. So here we go. That's all I know, other than, what was it they asked for? Like,
well, it was a cheap place, okay? Because it's expensive to go to these Comic Cons, to travel and everything like that. So I always look for the cheapest place, like that Manchester place with the bed bugs. But this was different. This was like, it was through booking.com. So I was looking through all the hotels. They were quite expensive. And there was this like, it was like an apartment thing. So it's on its own, like a bit like Airbnb type thing.
Yeah.
Really cheap. Looked really, really nice. Booked it. Paid up front through booking.com. So it was all paid up. All sorted. And then I got a message through booking.com from the people being like, hi, it's so-and-so from this place. Looking forward to you staying. Can you click on this link and go through and do the online check-in thing beforehand? I was like, okay, so I clicked on it and it went through to this other, like, it wasn't booking.com, it was like something booking. It was some other website. And I was like, okay, that's a bit odd. And you had to upload your ID, sign a rental agreement thing, and then put your card details in for a £200 damage deposit, saying we will take £200 14 days before you stay and it will be refunded 7 days afterwards. So, okay, I know there's a few red flags there, okay? But
I get the taking your details, and I get that in terms of like being able to, if there was anything, then charge you. What I don't get is already charging you the money before you stay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, they have done it. Spoiler, everyone, they've taken the money. I don't think it's a scam though. There are little red flags there. But I messaged booking.com and I was like, I've just had this message because it went through to a different website. That's what flagged it, because it wasn't through booking.com. So not sponsored, obviously. So I messaged them and I was like, okay, this has happened. They want me to pay £200 through this for a damage thing.
Yeah.
And then booking.com got back and was like, yeah, one, everything should be going through us, and two, it's only if there's damage afterwards that they take money out. They wouldn't be taking money beforehand. And I was like, okay. So I messaged back the people to say, well, I've heard from this. They say there shouldn't be anything. You know, I can get the other ID and everything done, but I'm not sure, you know. I don't think this should happen. Anyway, days went by, nothing. No response from them at all. Until it got to like the day before going and there was still nothing. So I did have another look and I was like, oh, maybe it is legit. Well, actually, no, I did a bit of Googling and this place and the pictures of the place. Actually, another red flag was on booking.com. It said this property is no longer taking any bookings. Not like it was booked up. It's just you cannot book this place anymore through this website. And I saw it on other websites as well. And it also said, you cannot book this place anymore. So you cannot book this place anywhere now. And also, it used to be called something else. That it's up there with the same pictures of a different name on booking.com and some other websites, which you cannot book anymore. And the photos, some of the photos were of this other place. So there were a few other things there. And I was like, okay, I messaged and said, can I send my ID through? The ID thing wasn't working. So I was like, can I email you the ID? And also, okay, I'll get the money stuff sorted, but can you just check about the ID? And I thought, if I mention the money thing, maybe they'll get back in touch quicker. And they did. As soon as I said the money. But then I got a text from them. And they were like, oh, the messaging thing through booking.com isn't working.
Of course it's not, because they're no longer listed.
So we're messaging you instead. Yes, you can email me at this. And it was something at gmail.com. But I did do a company's house thing of this like property place that runs it. And it was the same name and they're registered. And so I was like, okay, it balances out a bit. I was doing a bit of research. Anyway, cut a long story short, I paid the money through. Okay, I put it up, did all the ID, did everything else. And then I text. Okay, this is still the day before. Then I text and went, money's sorted. Can you let me know? Because they were like, you have to fill this in, otherwise we're not giving you any check-in details. So I didn't know how, like, you need the code to get in to get the key and stuff. Anyway, did that. It took a few hours. And then that night before, the money had gone out of the account, the £200 had gone. So they have actually taken it. And then I still hadn't got any check-in instructions. That Friday morning, because I was supposed to check in that Friday afternoon, still hadn't had any check-in details. I was like, oh no, maybe this is a scam. So I text again being like, oh, can you just let me know the check-in details? Because I haven't had anything yet. And then they message back going, oh, have you not had anything in your email? Because they're supposed to be automated. Should come through soon. But I don't want to spam your email. So I'll just leave it a bit longer. And I was like, no, I've checked the spam. Is there anything? Can you send again? And they said, yes, of course. Didn't get anything for a little while. I was like, oh my God. And I'm getting on the train now to go. Still nothing. And then eventually it did come through. There was an email come through. This is the code to get in. This is the key. Blah, 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 blah. Great. Got there. It was fine. It was great. Only just got back though, so that £200 should be coming back within the next 7 days. So tune in next time, everyone, when we definitely know if it was a scam or not, because they could have taken the £200.
If you don't hear anything in a week, could you go back to booking.com and say, this is the interaction I had?
Yeah, I can, but I do have the message from booking.com being like, they shouldn't be taking any money.
Yeah, but you could say to them that was the only way they were going to ensure the booking.
Yeah,
You've got
yeah.
proof of that because you've got it in texts.
So hopefully it's okay.
Screenshot the text so they don't delete anything.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I've got them.
Because people
I've got
can
them on
just
my
delete
phone.
their messages, can't
okay.
they? And then
they all disappeared. No, I've still got them. It's fine.
okay, screenshot them now, Mark.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Hold on, everyone. I've been told to do this. But anyway, to get on to the convention, it was MCon in Nottingham, so it was a big arena one.
Yeah.
And the main reason for going was not Doctor Who, actually. It was Chloe Annette from Crime Traveller, as we discussed in our Keeper of Traken episode, and Red Dwarf as well. And I've always wanted to meet her, and I was very nervous meeting her, but she was absolutely wonderful. She was amazing. Like it was, I mean, it's not cheap. It was 20 quid for a photo, 20 quid for a autograph. So I went up to a table and I had that letter. I don't think I mentioned this before, but I wrote to the BBC when I was young to be like, why isn't there not another series of Crime Traveller? And I've got that letter. So I've got that from when I wrote that when I was in primary school. So I took that to show her, and she was like talking about. She was just amazing. I mean, she wanted to sign the letter, and I was like, no, it's fine, it's all right. And I had my Crime Traveller DVD thing, and she signed that, and then she was like, I said, oh, obviously, I like you in Red Dwarf. She's like, oh, well, I'll give you a photo for free, and I'll sign that as well. So I got that for free. Nice. And then she was like, do you want a selfie for free? Because I got the official studio photo, which is a bit later on.
Oh, actually, no, this one's good, isn't it?
That's a good one. That's a good one. I was like, I've come all this way. I've been waiting years to see you. I've come all this way. She was like, oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
But no, Also saw her later on. I think she was going to the toilet, but she was walking through the crowd and she saw me and waved.
Ah.
And then the photo, that was at the beginning of the day, and the photo was right at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I queued up, and I was wearing that hoodie with the Lyle & Scott, the Lyle & Scott logo
Oh yeah.
on the hoodie. Anyway, I was just about to have the photo, and she looked at it and she went, Hollister. And I was like, what? And she was like, oh, that's that logo. I know that logo. It's Hollister. That's ridiculous. I was like, no, I don't think it is. Like, it's not Hollister. What are you? I was like, what are you talking about? Like, she just started like, and I was like, no, it's not. She's like, oh, I know that logo. I was like, oh, I think it's Lyle & Scott, isn't it? I said I don't think it's as expensive as Hollister. I think it's just. She's like, no, it's good. And I was like, yeah, it's Lyle & Scott. And she's like, oh yeah, of course it is. Well, that's not bad. That's quite good. And I went, no, I think I got it in a sale. And she just sort of hit me and went, oh. See you later. Like, so that's what is happening while this photo is being taken. She just sort of hit me and like, it was like, oh, get out of it. Get out of here. So she was absolutely wonderful. I'm so pleased that she wasn't like, in a mood or scary or anything like that. But also, and I have put this out there, I did see Mandip Gill, who has been in the latest series of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
She was there. And it was about time that I had a bad photo. And I will put this up. I'm mid-blink, I think. I don't know what is happening there.
It's another squash face Mark. It doesn't even look like you. It's so funny. It's been so long since we've had squash face Mark.
It's horrible. It is horrible. That's worse than squashed face, that one.
No, squash face is still forever like ingrained in my mind. That is on par with squash face.
It's a nice one of her, but no, I'm just...
It doesn't even look like you.
That does not look like me at all, does it?
No, that's the best part. It looks... It looks nothing like you.
I don't know what happened. But like,
how much did you pay for that?
That was 25 quid.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Considering she's just been on.
Yeah, actually, yeah. It was 30 advertised. So, but I did also want to see... the fifth Doctor, Peter Davison, but he cancelled last minute, so didn't get to see him. So, which also brings me on to when you messaged me and you were like, I've started watching the next Doctor Who.
You're like, what are you doing?
And I was like, oh no, because I meant to send you a picture of like where K9 and Company is on BritBox because it's under specials.
I completely forgot, to be honest. I mean, you know me. But also what was I thinking? I also started a new series. We haven't even done the Doskers. You were like, we need to get... And I was, oh, yeah. And the Doskers, oh, yeah. What am I doing?
Well, no, when I got that message, I was like, oh, no, you've started watching... Obviously, you started watching Castrovalva. Spoilers, sorry, everyone. But then I was like, oh, no.
I've done one episode.
But I only realised about the Doskers after that as well. I was like, hang on, that's the next series.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what I was... I think it's because I knew in my head we were recording... And I was like, I've a really busy few days. Let's make a start. So I just started to make a start. And if I'd have thought about it a bit more, but I didn't. But it's okay. Don't worry. I mean, I'll probably forgotten most of it and have to rewatch it again by the time we get to it. So.
Yeah.
Although I will say, and I did message you this, which started it, I'd forgotten that the Doctor regenerated. This is where my head's at. So as it started, he was on the ground. I was like, oh yeah, he regenerated. It's a new Doctor. I completely forgot. That won't happen a second time.
So I wanted to. Yeah, it would be good to. I could have told you about Peter. That we can talk about Peter Davison now because he's another Doctor. It's not spoilers for you now. So yeah, unfortunately he cancelled. So I've seen Chloe Annette. My life ambition has been achieved finally. I was just so scared. I was like, oh, what's she going to be like? But she was absolutely brilliant, wonderful. Because she doesn't do acting or anything anymore. Oh, actually, here's the thing. Her agent, when she was in Crime Traveller and Red Dwarf at the same time, because she was saying she was basically on, there was like an overlap briefly that she was on Crime Traveller on like Red Dwarf on like a Friday night and Crime Traveller on a Saturday. She said the BBC were annoyed that she was in two sci-fi shows at the same time. It wasn't the done thing. And they were a bit funny about it. But her agent is the actress that plays Tegan.
Oh, no way.
And got her those parts. It was her agent at the time in the 90s. Yeah. So, and also, I don't think this has come up. Maybe it did when we were talking about Dodo, but the actress that played Dodo was Tom Baker's agent.
I didn't know that.
So
Oh my gosh.
So I think that might have been after he'd left Doctor Who or around that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they went into that. I can't imagine Dodo being the fourth Doctor, the agent of Tom Baker as well. I don't know if
That's such a small world thing.
yeah.
I mean, a lot of actors do become agents and stuff, but
Yeah. Anyway, shall we talk about K9 and Company?
yes.
Because I didn't really tell you much about it. I just said it's K9 and Company. It's a special. I'm hoping that you've liked it because in my head it's a little bit of a nice Sunday afternoon prototype mystery with Sarah Jane back as a sort of young Miss Marple type thing,
Yeah.
maybe
I
in my
think,
head.
actually, I'm kind of sad that it wasn't made into a series. Other than,
don't-
you can see the elements why it wasn't. It's a lot of potential.
Well, I asked you to do a little reaction video of watching the titles
Oh my God,
because I knew because those are so with fandom and stuff. So many people parody them, and it's just that people go to that pub and have the glass of wine and sit there and recreate that moment. That all happens.
It was right. It was 3 scenes, wasn't it? She's on her bike. That's one. She sat having the wine, and then the other one, she just sort of looks at the camera.
Oh no, she's jogging. She's going out for a jog. Yeah, she's jogging.
She's jogging. She's the wine. What's the third one?
Jogging, wine. Oh, and then just sort of is she sitting on the wall?
She just sort of turns to the camera and does this look, right? And it was the fact, they'd done one thing, then there's some things, then we see that one, and then it was the fact that they did a fast of just those 3. And that's what, as you saw, it just killed me. I was like, and when it was her on the wall, and then it was K9 on the wall, I died. I died. It was so cheesy and ridiculous. It felt like, I don't know. It didn't fit anything that happened after. And it was so, and also, oh my gosh, I want to be on a fly on the wall when they were putting together that, because it's a good minute. It's not short. It's a good minute intro. All right, this is the music. We're doing a series. Here's the music. Okay, we're going to shoot this. Who were the people? I want to be a fly on the wall in that conversation when they were and it'll be this, and then she'll be on the wall, and then K9 will be on the wall, and they're a double act.
It's gone down in history as an interesting title. I don't know. Would they have kept that? Would that have just been a pilot idea? I don't know, but it's brilliant. You're not going to get that anywhere else.
Oh my gosh, no, it's so funny.
And Sarah Jane.
Yeah, because almost as it started, I was trying to remember if she did encounter K9, and obviously she didn't. But it's very close to when her leaving and then K9 appearing. So
yeah, and I think around that time the producer did ask Sarah Jane to be actually back in the new series for the sort of regeneration, but I think he wanted her to do a whole series, and she was like no. But obviously she agreed to this. He did also ask Leela to come back.
Oh, really?
To come back for the regenerate. I think, there's loads of them around, and there's those past sort of flashbacks in Legopolis. I think he did actually want people to come back, but they wouldn't or whatever. Anyway, this, for whatever reason, was made as a little Christmas special thing.
And it's 81, 82?
Yeah, so we're Christmas 81, I think, now.
Yeah.
Or 80, going into 81,
It's not 80.
I think.
I remember it was 81 or 82 because it came up with a year. I can't remember which.
What I like about this, though, I mean, you've got K9, obviously. I mean, it is more about Sarah Jane than K9.
Way more about Sarah Jane than K9. Way more.
But it's not spacey, sci-fi or anything. It is a little Midsummer Murders-y style thing. With all these different characters in the village. You're setting you up like your classic sort of Agatha Christie type thing. But
part of me did wonder where else it could go.
What, as a series?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Is it always... Well, we do have, eventually, years later, the Sarah Jane Adventures. She's on Earth doing sort of the same thing.
Yeah. the fact that it was in, I don't, you know, right, Midsummer Murders is the perfect like comparison. It's all in the village, sort of thing.
Okay, well, did you guess who it was? Were you guessing throughout? What did you?
Pretty much, yeah. It wasn't. I didn't find it the most obvious, which was quite nice.
So, who were you thinking? Which one were you thinking as it was
I
going
thought
through?
it was like she said at the end. I thought it was that woman and her husband.
Oh my god, they are. Everyone loves them. They are the best, aren't they? But it sort of acted to make you think, isn't it?
Exactly. So like, there was nothing that made me think, "Oh, it's this person. It's this person." Like even at one point, like I was like, "Oh, is it the boyfriend? Is it her aunt's boyfriend?"
What, Brendan?
I mean, I can't remember names. You get introduced to a lot of people very quickly.
Well, we're watching this back. Yeah, I mean, I had this on video, obviously, when I was young, and oh my god, Ross loved this one because I lent him the Hand of Fear.
Of course he did.
And I accidentally put Canine Company in the box of Hand of Fear. So when he borrowed it, he was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "It's Canine Company." He loved Canine, so I watched this a lot. But I didn't watching it back. Sarah Jane comes in, and she's like, "Oh, there's this person visits, this person comes around, this person rings up."
You've got so many people. Like,
but I don't know if that's because it's like a pilot and it's sort of setting it up. Maybe it's got to do a little bit more than it normally would have because you're setting everything up.
So we have that scene with the aunt, and then literally she's appearing, and there was no sort of like distinction that time had passed between the scene with her aunt and then when she's suddenly there. Like, so initially I was like, well, where is it? Like, literally just...
she was there a minute ago.
Literally, like, she's coming, and then she's not here. Like, I was as confused as Sarah Jane was. Like, there was no allusion to, like, a passing of time of a week or something. You know?
Yeah, Aunt Lavinia. So that was the one, when Sarah Jane first started and she was pretending to be her aunt to get into the unit thing. That's who it was. It was a weird thing with aunts this time. We had Auntie Vanessa, Tegan's aunt last time. It's all aunts all of a sudden. But I like that. Yeah, it's got to do quite a lot in the short time. I think that's the problem because it's interesting. And then you've got to introduce Brendan as well because Sarah Jane needs a companion of her own in a way.
Yeah, so I wasn't thinking of Brendan. I was thinking of Aunt Lavinia's boyfriend.
She hasn't got a boyfriend.
That's what she said, of a farmer.
That's not a boyfriend.
I'm sure she says it's a boyfriend. And that's how he lets himself in the back. He's used to it. And oh gosh, I'm going to have to go back and watch.
No. No. Who are you talking Hang on.
Okay, I need to look this up.
Hang on. All of it, right. Are you talking about the farmer man?
Yeah, he said it. Right, I swear he said it at the start.
No, he says he lets himself in the back, but he doesn't say it's his boyfriend. No, he's like the neighbour. He runs the... This was the other thing, wasn't it? The soil and all of that stuff. So you've got Bill Pollock.
Hang on. We are figuring this out.
Or are you talking about like Scary Farmer Man, who was the baddie?
No, I'm not Scary Farm Man.
The guy with the dog.
Yeah. What was his name?
Bill Pollock.
Right. Bill
Fraser. And it was him.
No, am I on about the same people then?
Hang on, there's not that... All right, okay.
I'm looking on Wikipedia. There's so many people.
Hang on, right, okay. I've got...
George.
Okay, so George Tracy.
Yeah.
Hang on, George Tracy is the guy with the flat cap who was a bit creepy, who was the son. Yeah, well, it was him. He was bad, wasn't he?
Is that what I mean?
And then you've got Bill Pollock, who had the Alsatian.
Oh, no, I mean him. I mean the one with the dog.
Yeah, who lets himself in the back. Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's not a boy. He's just like a neighbour that they all work. No, he said he rented her East Wing.
Yeah.
He rented her
I
East Wing.
swear he said that they were together.
No, they are not. No, because Sarah Jane would be like, "Where's your girlfriend?"
She's an independent woman, is the aunt. She doesn't need...
No, so it did turn out to be him, didn't it?
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
baddie. Yeah, and the post office lady, and sort of the son and the guy, and the policeman.
It was pretty much everyone but that couple. That's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
I thought, oh, he's bad. I never thought the post office lady was. That was what, like, there were other people like, oh, it's them. Oh, it could be them. So
Yeah. Oh, but that couple, it's Juno Baker, the Bakers who have the party. Yeah, they are great.
Juno and Howard.
But do you think they play it too obvious?
I mean, maybe if you're watching it a second time, but not the first time. Everyone plays it like that.
Because when she's on the phone and she's like, "Oh,
I
yeah,
love
she'll
that.
come." Yeah, when that phone call is so over. She's quite a bit over the top. But so what do you think about Brendan then coming into it?
So he was the ward, yeah?
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was a really nice... It brought some sort of the element that people know of Doctor Who, which was the science. He's obviously interested in it, even though he's younger. I liked him. I thought it was good. I thought him and Sarah Jane were the strongest actors.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Sarah Jane is above everybody in this, I think.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I don't think the actress was particularly happy with the end result. I don't think... I don't know. I think she felt that they were sort of dressing her a bit too sort of old Miss Marpley and making her a bit... I mean, she's still that journalist.
She's a journalist, ladies and gentlemen.
And obviously, yeah, she does need some... That Brendan he's a bit like Adric. He's like Adric too.
Yeah.
He's Earth Adric, basically.
I liked him. I thought, like, he had a nice... I was trying to work out what his age might be. Because he's obviously supposed to still be in school and stuff, but I was like... He had, like, a naivety, but also an obvious, very keen interest in things. And was obviously quite clever, and I liked how he bonded with K9 very quickly and stuff, so I thought that liked it quite well.
How it was that Sarah Jane journalist.
And not only is she a journalist, she's a very good one too.
I like it. It seemed like early Sarah Jane to me in this, that first season with the third Doctor. We know in the dinosaurs one, with the filing cabinet lift and all of that. And she's like, I know I'm right. She was up against everybody who was bad. It was like all over again.
Liked is not the wrong, but everyone kept saying to her, like, what did they keep saying? Oh, lighten up or something like that.
Yeah, no, at the party, Juno Baker was like, "Oh, you're so prickly" or something.
Everyone kept saying everyone. Like,
yeah.
What a way to not feel welcome in a place.
And then that other guy, she was like, "Oh yeah, Brendan's been kidnapped." He's like, "Oh, stop being so like negative." Like, he was really like... Yeah, but I don't think she was though. She was still the same character.
Oh yeah, it just made me laugh how everyone was like, stop it.
Lighten up, it's Christmas. It's all fine. And then nobody's worried about Aunt Lavinia.
No one is. Not even her boyfriend. I'm going to have to go back and listen to that. I swear he said...
No, he is not a boyfriend. He said he rents out her East Wing and he used to let himself in the back door. And he does the soil samples and stuff. Because she's got a garden. She obviously that's part of on her land.
Yeah.
This garden thing. I didn't really get all this. I don't think you need to talk about the pH of the soil for a long time. I didn't really get that. I never got that as a child, and I know we did that in science once at school about the pH of something.
I didn't understand why everyone was so angry about it. Everyone was just so angry in this village.
Well, because Brendan is like obviously brainy, and he's like, well, the pH of this soil is... I don't know how you can tell by looking at it. And then that guy is like...
Something later. Like, maybe it was to set up something that might come... Because obviously, whoever... Like, her aunt's boyfriend is the one that, like... their business isn't doing well, whereas this other guy's business is doing very well.
Oh, hang on. There's two people got different businesses.
Yeah.
Who's got a different business? I thought they were...
So, you've got... I think... It's the bakers. They have a business.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Because he says, he sits down and he's like, whatever he does, if he hits anything, he just goes to roundabouts. I don't know. He made some sort of phrase and sat there on his pipe. And
Yeah, swings and roundabouts, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, they're doing really well. And he said, like, if we don't do well, we're going to be bankrupt. And I wondered whether the PHs and all that was because they needed to make a sacrifice to please the gods or whoever it was, a lot of chanting, please someone that then their crops will grow again. They believed that that's why their crops weren't growing.
Because I suppose if this was your standard proro, it would all be about would have been murdered because they wanted shares in someone's PH business or something like that. Basically, is it like GM crops, basically, sort of thing, isn't it?
I don't know. I couldn't work out what they were trying to do. I mean, I thought that she was a boyfriend, so, you know.
When it started, it does start chanty stuff, and you think, oh,
there's
hang on a second.
There's a lot of chanting throughout.
And I suppose it's got that elements of the demons a little bit with all of that.
It reminded me very demon-y.
And I suppose, I think it would have worked well. It didn't have to be the culty stuff. I suppose it could have just been that's what makes it more of a canine sci-fi thing than your standard Midsomer Murders. I'm not too keen on all the chancy stuff, but it didn't go too over the top. And obviously Brendan gets captured as well, and there's all of that stuff. It's a shame he's out of it for quite a lot. But then you come to K9 and you're like, actually, how would a series work? Because K9 can't really do very much. Sarah's got to pick him up in and out the car all the time.
Yeah.
Put him down and like open doors for him. And I liked when he hid in that guy's house. That was quite good.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
could be like a surveillance camera type thing.
I agree with you. It was not K9's story. This was Sarah Jane's story, and K9 was there too to help.
Yeah. I couldn't see him, and then they're driving around at the end and stuff, and he's a bit of a gun as well, or stun gun. But what else could there was so many things where I was like, well, if K9 could, like, surely if K9's in the house and Brendan gets like grabbed at the door or something, he can sense that and be like, there's a being at the door, or he can detect stars. I don't know. I felt like in the Doctor Who he was a bit more cleverer than that and could do stuff, but he can't be clever because we need to work out a detective mystery here. So I don't think it would have worked.
No, maybe that's what they knew. Maybe that was why it only had this one beautiful special.
Because it's like giving
one intro.
It's like saying to Miss Marple, here's like Wikipedia or something, I suppose. You know, it's like that, isn't it? Like, here's all your answers because you've got K9.
Borrow security cameras.
Yeah.
I forgot to tell you my other favourite part of that intro, sorry. There's a key change, but K9's voice doesn't change key. And that also destroyed me. Like, I was like, oh, key change. And then I realised he has not changed his voice. He is against the key change now. But the music has stepped up a bit in the last third or whatever. It's a fun song, don't get me wrong. It's not the song's fault. But I guess they were trying to do what they could do with what they thought at the time. I can't work out who it's pitched for either. Like, is it for kids? Is it for grown-up? Like, it's just not very clear who it's pitched at.
Well, I suppose for kids, you got K9, but then families, you want to get the mystery of what happened.
I don't know. It feels like it just works as a Christmas special, and that is it.
Well, it got 8.4 million viewers, so...
I can imagine it at Christmas.
Yeah. And the guy that played the boyfriend... he was the piratey guy, Megalos.
Oh, okay.
The spiky doctor, and you've got the two...
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It was one of those guys. That was him. Yeah. So he'd already been in Doctor Who previously, and they were like, oh, we'll book you again for the end of the season for K9 and Company. I would have liked to have seen more of Aunt Lavinia, actually, or if the series went ahead.
I think that's what would have happened. We'd have seen more of Aunt Lavinia.
I really liked her.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, it just worked for what it was for me. I really can't imagine it as a series.
But I like the slow pace of it because it is. She's picking up the telephone, having a chat, and people are walking in and out of the living room.
Telegrams.
Yeah, and all of that stuff. I'd really like that. It's just fun, and the house and the set is so Earth-based.
In fact,
so not sci-fi.
I think that's when she was checking her telegrams. I thought, well, nowadays it'd be an email.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I don't receive this email or text.
Well, yeah, I suppose, yeah. I don't think it was it like a wire to America and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's 1981. I'm sure you can just phone up America.
Well, she's phoned someone to check international.
Yeah.
It's
But
all
this-
a bit odd.
This all comes down to Aunt Lavinia just leaving a note saying, "I've gone away." Like it's like the Keeper of Traken not saying what was going on. Aunt Lavinia could have just said, "I've just gone away.
Early.
Everything is fine. I've not been like murdered. Like this is everything." I think she just went away without telling everyone, and you can tell it's Christmas over in America. I like Aunt Lavinia at the end on the phone because she's got a sparkly top on so
Yeah.
it's Christmas.
Apparently, in America, they don't really celebrate Christmas.
What was that about? Surely they go massive on it, don't they? Like, who wrote that?
I don't know.
That really
Not
stood
for an
out.
American audience, this is it.
What did you think of Brendan's laugh when he
Oh, he's honk.
his honk? Yeah,
She said, "Stop honking." That made me laugh.
that always stands out for me. The honking.
I thought that they had a good chemistry. I thought there was a nice rapport between them.
Yeah. I would have loved to see more of them.
Yeah. It's a shame he got kidnapped so early on.
Yeah, and it's obviously years after Sarah Jane has come back on Earth, and she's a journalist. She's been going around the world and stuff, or doing whatever she does, and then she's apparently staying there now for good, like
To write a book.
to live with her aunt. Oh yeah, to write a book. Oh, I'd love to read her book. I bet she does. Like it's like Murder She Wrote. Before
Well,
Murder She Wrote.
maybe that's what it would have turned into. Maybe she'd start writing these tales.
Sarah Jane's murderous tales. Yeah. So you enjoyed it.
I did more than I thought I would.
Yes, I knew you would enjoy it. I think everyone likes it. It's a bit of it's an odd one. It's not really part of the season, but it's still, we still got to do it in order at this point. But like all the acting it wasn't terrible. There wasn't anyone way over the top, and if they were, it was
felt
appropriate.
like a nice balance for a pilot.
Yeah. It was a bit odd. Like she had to go around all these different churches. I don't know the timeline. If you look at it a bit, if you really pick it apart, I don't think it makes too much sense. But it doesn't matter. It's just fun.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Cool. Well, there we go. That is Canine and Company, everybody. We done it. Well, it'll be the Oscars next. Yeah, I don't think there's much else to say. Well, then we'll be on to the Fifth Doctor, and we can talk about him properly, although you have had a sneak preview, so...
Yeah, sorry, everyone. I just wasn't thinking. I knew we were recording. I was like, right, next. I just went next.
Well, yeah, so we've got a few weeks before we get onto that, but we will be back soon with the Oscars and Castrovalva. So in the meantime, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 2watchwho. I will post up your Instagram. Can I put that on Instagram stories? You watching the Canine and Company thing? Yeah, good. And yeah, we will see you for the Oscars very soon. Bye.
Bye.
To watch who?